Hello guys, welcome back. My name's Nathan and today we're going to be discussing the latest Montreal Canadiens trade rumors specifically surrounding Jonathan Drouin and if the Habs will actually trade him. Now, Jonathan Drouin is easily one of the most interesting Montreal Canadiens. A guy that came to Montreal 2 years ago and has fit in Montreal, but also hasn't fit too well. And right now is finding himself in the latest Montreal trade rumors. So what is going on right now with Jonathan Drouin, and will he actually be traded from Montreal right now? Watch till the end to find out. Now, these trade rumors started when Eric Engels of Sportsnet posted a new article explaining Jonathan Drouin and his future with the Montreal Canadiens. It was a fantastic, in-depth one as well, had a lot of good information. And one of the biggest things coming out of that, at least first off, was that in a 3-0 loss versus Toronto, Jonathan Drouin played a league or a team low 11 minutes. And that isn't exactly the greatest thing ever. Yes, it is preseason, so it doesn't count that much, but Drouin playing a team low isn't exactly a good sign either. Now, in that same article, there was a very important sentence. Now, Eric Engels said this, or at least is quoting this, his name is definitely out there. Texted an Eastern Conference executive during Wednesday night's game. And that is huge news. While we kind of saw and we kind of knew that Jonathan Drouin's name was out there in trade rumors, this is confirmed news. This confirmed that Jonathan Drouin is not just out there for Western Conference teams, but also for Eastern Conference teams. And that, again, is huge news out there. It's looking like the Montreal Canadiens are kind of getting desperate to get Jonathan Drouin off the team, which, for how he's performed so far, I can kind of see why. Yes, he's great offensively, but his defense definitely leaves some to be desired. Now, in response to all these trade rumors, Marc Bergevin ended up talking about it for some reason and had this to say. I don't know where they come from. Most of those reports are from somebody's basement in Toronto, so I don't pay attention to that, to be honest with you. And that quote just kind of confuses me because does he not realize that the guy that broke these trade rumors was a guy covering the Montreal Canadiens? I'm not sure what exactly is going through his mind there. I think he's just trying to deflect from all those trade rumors. I think he's still shopping Drouin even though the news is out. I think he just wanted to get the conversation away from that. Oh, just blame the Toronto writers for that. Even though our own regional writer for Sportsnet ended up covering the trade rumors. Either way, I think Bergevin is just trying to deflect there and doing anything possible to make sure Drouin's name is still cleared. Now, while Bergevin was kind of coming to the defense of Drouin in that quote, he also had a couple of quotes kind of wanting more from Drouin. He said this: he has some good moments, but overall, we need more. He's a skilled player, he has talent, he has a lot of attributes. And that's kind of saying a lot and saying nothing at the same time, but Bergevin still kind of believes in Drouin, I think. And to me personally, Drouin is one of those players that is just so fascinatingly average that I think he could be a lot more than that if he gets on the right team. With the Montreal Canadiens, I think it's worked out points-wise, but everything else other than that hasn't really gone up to the standard. I think, honestly, Jonathan Drouin might be the biggest glass cannon in the NHL, where he, again, has those moments where he looks fantastic, but then the other 95% of his game is very lackluster. And he does put up points, yes, but his defensive game and overall offensive impact is a lot less than some people do expect. Now, Jonathan Drouin last year with Montreal ended up playing 81 games, getting 18 goals, 35 assists for 53 points. And when you look at the points only, Jonathan Drouin still looks like a pretty great player for the Montreal Canadiens. But when you factor in all the situations that he was in, it's kind of a little bit less impressive than the points he puts up. Firstly, he was surrounded against amazing teammates, having guys like Domi, Tatar, to always play with basically was a big blessing for him. He played some center, played some wing, never really got too used to both, I would say. It was kind of a mixture, if I recall correctly, last season. And again, he never really got that groove. Defensively, he was absolutely terrible. It was just a horrendous show to watch him actually try to attempt defense, because that's the best he could do. And I think when it comes to Drouin, he's one of those players that relies on other teammates to get his points and to get his production. I think he's a guy that doesn't create the most offense in the world, isn't a guy that can drive a line, but is a decent guy that can tackle along a great player and really just rack up those points. He's a guy that isn't too valuable to the Montreal Canadiens anymore, and even though they did trade him for Mikhail Sergachev, he isn't exactly fetching up too much in the trade market. And some of you guys know the Tampa Bay Lightning are my second favorite team, so I've seen Jonathan Drouin really work his skills for a long time. And I think he has skills in the NHL. I think he has fantastic offensive potential, but I don't think that potential has been reached whatsoever so far. And with Montreal, I think that was his big opportunity. When that trade happened, I don't think anybody was really saying it was a great trade for Montreal, but I think there were some people saying that he could rejuvenate himself in Montreal quite easily. In a French market, you know, where he grew up as a hockey fan, I have the feeling that he would do a lot better than this. Yes, the points are still solid, but the player on the ice hasn't been good for Montreal, offensively or defensively. Now, not to mention that Jonathan Drouin is the highest paid Montreal Canadiens forward. Right now at $5.5 million for the next 4 years. Ahead of guys like Domi, Tatar, Gallagher, you name it, he's the highest paid forward on Montreal. And that is a problem for Montreal, who can have all, or can use all the cap space they can get. That $5.5 million is cap space that I think Montreal would love to have right now. That 5.5 maybe held them back from getting guys like Laine, Brandon Point, or even guys like Matthew Tkachuk. I think that's a valid concern for Montreal. Again, cap space is so freaking valuable in this league. And with Montreal, who has to sign Max Domi this next season, they're going to need all they can get. But trading Jonathan Drouin won't exactly be easy. I don't think the market is really set on getting a guy like him. He's a right winger, likely won't play center for most teams besides Montreal, and just right now isn't in a good spot whatsoever. Now, to be fair, I think there is definitely some interest in Jonathan Drouin, but no team's going to be dumb enough to be as dumb as Montreal did back when they traded a top defensive prospect in Mikhail Sergachev. That's not going to be the asking price whatsoever. Montreal shouldn't be asking that for a guy like that. Most likely, I think if we do see a trade, it is for prospects, picks, to get that extra cap space. I think Montreal wants that. If they are a playoff team, they can definitely use it this trade deadline. With a lot of different guys to choose from, I'd much rather have a lot of those rentals than Jonathan Drouin right now. But honestly, looking at the likelihood of Jonathan Drouin being traded for the Montreal Canadiens, to me it's pretty exponentially high. I think when it comes to Drouin, it might not happen before this season, it might not happen even before the trade deadline, but I think Jonathan Drouin will be on a different team by the end of the year. Again, I just don't think there's a real fit for him long term. I think Montreal knows that, I think Bergevin knows that, and is trying his best to get him off the team. There might not be too much interest there, but I think if he goes and waits till the trade deadline potentially, I think there'd be a lot more interest there. Yes, his contract is huge. Yes, he doesn't live up to that contract, but he still is a decent offensive player, and I think that is worthwhile. Definitely in February. While Montreal might not get it done now, I think we will see a trade sooner than later. But of course, with this video, I need to hear your guys' thoughts. Down those comments down below. So let me know what you think about Jonathan Drouin and the latest trade rumors surrounding him. And what do you think about the possibility of him leaving Montreal? Do you see it happening or do you not? And who do you see actually trading for Jonathan Drouin? But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, you should click on this card right here to watch my video on Patrick Laine and him calling out the Winnipeg Jets. But that'll be it for today, guys. If you guys enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Again, comment down below your thoughts on Jonathan Drouin and what you think will happen with him. Share this video with your friends also if you haven't already. Trying to get the Grav gang to 10K subscribers, boys. Let's make that happen. I'm Nathan, and I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Goodbye.